We had a few questions about children who are retained in kindergarten. And so just as a reminder, retained kindergarten students are not administered the KRA, whether they're from Ohio or from out of state. We would not expect a KRA score for those children. Now, I do understand that in some organizations, you upload your students from a file that you get from your student information system, and that file might include those retained kindergarten children. If that happens, you can always make those students inactive so they're not associated with an enrollment or with a teacher. And we would not expect KRA data entered for those kindergarten children that are retained.
When a request comes and another district loads that student with the same SSID, the student SSID would trigger a request to you from the new district. The district of origin has to approve or respond to the request. Essentially, District B is saying, we have Sarah as a student and we'd like to add her to our district, and we'd like to know if you give us permission to do that. We've loaded her SSID in, and now we'd like to include her in our SIS as a student here in the KReady system as well. And so at that point, in this case, for instance, we have Han Solo who's been requested. At that point, I am the student, or excuse me, the district of origin for that student. So I am responsible for going in and approving that transfer. And I just approved Han Solo's transfer. I'm still checking on Stephen King because I believe he and Brad Pitt should both be a part of my district. And so I'm going to check with the entities that I need to check with, whether that's another data person in my location, whether that's the building principal, whether that's someone else. I need to make sure that it's okay for me to go ahead and approve Stephen King before I click that button.
Going back here, a student withdrawals, or it's the kindergarten student's retained. In order to make the student inactive, you need to remove the teacher. So on the left-hand side, you want to go to your organizations tab, select view districts, select view locations. All right, and then select view students. Once you find your student, so let's just go ahead with Huey up the very first one. All right, so these are the more details of your student's information. You go up to the enrollments tab for that student. You want to go ahead and remove the teacher from the student. If you go ahead and remove both, and now good way, now there's no teachers associated. If you go back to your locations right above, and let's just go look for him again, select view students. And right there, status is going to show as inactive. Any student that is inactive, you are not responsible for reporting scores to EMIS for. So if you have a retained student, if a student withdrew and is not coming back to a later date, or if the student has left your district, either way, you want to go ahead and make them inactive, so you are not responsible for reporting those scores.
Have had just a handful of people asking about the scale score report for the KRA. And just a reminder that data managers have until November 6th to do the cleanup window. Once the cleanup window is finished, then all of the scaled scores will get generated in the KReady system. And then our team will send an email to all of the data managers letting them know, yay, the scaled score reports are ready, and we'll give you the exact title of the scaled score report. We will give detailed directions on how to access and save that file. And then the ISRs will also be available at that time, and we will also provide directions for that. Now, once this cleanup window closes and you've accessed your scaled score reports and you're doing your EMIS reporting, There's a chance that you might get a student either new to kindergarten or transferring from another school or district. In any case, do not administer the KRA after November 1st to any student. Also, once the system is finished generating the scores, you will not have to add any students that come to you from another school or another district. If you need their scaled score or you need their individual student report, at that time, I would encourage you to use your local transfer of student records processes that you use for any records that would come with a child transferring from another school or district. And if the ISR was put in that student's cumulative file, then I would hope that it would come over with the other records that come with that student. If it's missing or was not put in that student's file, you can always contact that school and ask them for the kindergarten readiness assessment scores for that child. You can always reach out to the help desk as well, and they can help you with finding scores.